Did you? I know you played some under 23, and I think you played a couple of full England games.
Yeah, I played against Austria and Scotland at Hampden Park.
What year would that have been?
That was 61, 62 season. Yeah.
That would have been under. Who was doing it from the team?
Walter Winterbottom was there then, but I don't know. I got sent off in a under 23 match when I was 20 odd, 22, 21, 22 I suppose. And Bill Murray, who was manager of Sunderland at the time, said that they'll not pick you now that you've been sent off. I think I was the first man to get sent off in an international.
What was that all about? Did you just hit someone, or?
I hit a bloke, yeah, because he just spit in my face. I hit him. I mean, spitting at that time was not the done thing in English football. It never has been. I mean, they do it now because I suppose I don't know.
Well, it's more noticeable now.
Well,
because
yeah,
TV cameras everywhere, isn't
TV
it?
cameras, but nobody ever spit at you. I can't remember anybody spitting at me, but I was running up we were playing in Bulgaria, and I was running up the side of the touchline just to take a throw in, and this bloke, he was standing there, and as I run past him, he spit at me, and it bloody hit me here, and I just saw red. I just went bang, and of course the blood lines were sitting there, the sort of referees not 20 yards away, just picked it off. Which is, yeah, fair enough, I shouldn't have hit him, but I mean, it was just one of these, I don't know, spur of the moment things.
Why did you pack up so early? I mean, you were only
I
32.
I pulled this stomach muscle here, just up here, and I playing and training with it, and it got to a stage where I could hardly bloody walk, and I went to the hospital. Well, Doc Phillips sent me, and he says, if you don't rest, it's going to be permanent. So I decided to rest it, and by that time we'd gone down into the 3rd division, and we brought in young players, Don Masson, Billy Horner, all these lads were playing, and they were doing all right. So after the initial bad start that we had, they were doing all right, and I decided that there's no way you can play and manage same time, or coach, whatever the terminology is. There's no way you can do it. So I just, I never officially retired rather. I never officially retired. I played one match at Ashington in a reserve team match, just to see what I could do. And you're that concerned about, watching what young lads are doing, that you're actually not performing yourself, and I know Jackie Milburn says, you played as, he was at the match, he was doing a report, and he says, you could do a great job for Middlesbrough even now, I says, but, I don't really want to, I said, I'm 32 now, I'll probably be 33 at that time. And I said, there's no bloody future in it, is there? There's no future, it's just a stopgap thing. And I said, I'd rather have the youngsters coming through and hoping that they're gonna. I mean, that basically was the one regret that I had, was that young players like Don Masson refused to play in positions which I wanted to play in, and yet at the end of the day, it turned out that Masson turned out to be one of the best midfield players in the country, and yet would not play in midfield with me. He wanted to score goals up front, which was, I kept telling him, I said, you're a midfield player, Don. You're not quick enough to be up front. Midfield.
He was a bit headstrong with you then. You sort of come
Don,
about it.
Bit headstrong, yeah, but he was a nice enough lad. There's no problem. He was, but he was a very, very good player, Don. Very good player.
Who did he go? Did Notts County you sold him to QPR?
I went to Notts County to start, 6,000 I sold him for. And that was doing a favour, like, to Jimmy Cyril.
Oh yeah.
who was a bit of a wheeler dealer. Jimmy Lawson to Huddersfield for 6 or 7, and they were 2 youngsters that probably could have done a top class job for Middlesbrough, but at that time they were just, I don't know, too impetuous, couldn't wait any longer, you know, and it was a shame about Don. Yeah, it was Don. It's fine.
Do you remember, this is a little quiz question for you, do you remember scoring for both sides when you was at Middlesbrough?
Well, I probably do. That's
it.
At Rotherham. Scored at Rotherham.
Arthur Horsfield said, well, he had quite a few stories to tell about that match. It was New Year's Day. He said during that match that Stan Anderson scored a great goal for the Boro, but he also scored one of the best own goals I've ever seen. He said the header. Do you remember much of it?
I know, I can see it now. And there was bloody Des McFarland in goal. And the ball's coming across, and I mean, I'm only from here to there off the bloody goal. And I'm waiting for the goalie to come and bloody just pick it off my head. He never came, and just hit us on the head and bloody went in the goal, and he's standing behind me. So I look round and say, where? You know, Des.
And what about John O'Rourke? Was it a bit sad that he had to go when he...
No,
when he
John had done his job at Middlesbrough. He'd done his job.
He could have continued to do that. I mean,
no,
no?
I don't think so. No.
Was he...
No, I think he's John. I mean, I've seen John 2 or 3 times down at Bournemouth, and he was all right, John. There was no problem with him. It was just that it was something that was in his game that you could never change. You know, I don't want to go into details with it, but he was very brave at situations where you wouldn't expect him to be brave. But when you expected him to be brave in other situations, he wasn't. And that is, you know, it's
made him a liability somewhat.
Not a liability, no, because he was always quite he was always there to score goals, you know. I mean, he did a great job for me in the 3rd division. Can't knock it, you know. John Hickton came, and John, I think, could score goals in any division.
But you didn't buy him as a goal scorer.
No, but I said that, you know, I knew that he had played up front. And to be fair to Brownie, when Brownie sold him to me, he said he can play anywhere, this lad. And I think we played him at right back. In fact, that's what we did. We played him at right back. We're number 2 on his back. And then one day I said, you're not playing there today. I'm putting Horner at the back. I'm moving Masson into midfield. And I'm pushing you up front. But we never changed the numbers. We just, and so we played John Hickton up front. We're number 2 on his back. And for weeks, nobody twigged it, you know. All the teams. What I should have done was stick him with number 10 on his back and played him at number 2.
Yeah. That would have really confused him, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It must have been a great season to have lived through that one.
They were nice lads, you know. When you know, I mean, you always think that you're badly done to, but I mean, when I look back on, I mean, we had some real laughs, you know. There were some funny lads. There were some funny lads, and you get to the point where, you know, you look back on your time there, and all right, you know, you never want to go through what I went through in the first year. But after that, it was, yeah, I mean, you always get your problems and that, but it's nice to be able to sort of meet them up, you know, meet up with them again and sort of have a laugh, because there was some funny times.